Well, God morning, Ahiah. Welcome to live streaming and live service. There are actually bodies in the sanctuary. Can you believe that? Yes, indeed. Welcome to the Ahiah Center for Spiritual Living in beautiful downtown Pasadena, USA, California, too. We're in the heart of the theater district, and the weather is just breezy and easy today. So grateful to be through that heat wave. Yes. But it's a reminder for us to know that when things get hot, that this too shall pass. Yes. And it has passed here in Pasadena. I'm Reverend Michael Bernard Lattimore, your guide on the side this morning, assistant minister here at Ahiah, and honored to welcome you to our God's Party, our celebration. The theme for this month is good work, and the wisdom talk topic today is living your dreams. Reverend Scott Olson will be delivering the wisdom talk, and the power talk is going to be delivered by Rabbi Joshua, who is live and in the house. We're welcome to have you, my brother. It's so good to see you again. Indeed, indeed. And our musical inspiration today, voice of an angel, Alison Lewis is in the house. Alison, welcome home. Let's give her some love. And she'll be supported by the Sunday band. We got Brian Menifee on percussions, holding down the rhythm and the beat. And on the bass is Leon Johnson. He's also in the sound booth. He's slicing and dicing. He's doing it all. And tickling the keyboards, we've got Mahesh in the house. Oh, we're in for a treat. Indeed. And we're celebrating this week because we're counting down to 6 more days before Reverend Scott's ordination and our one-night-only live concert with Ricky Byers and Michael Gott at the Arcadia Performing Arts Center. It is going to be a blast. So come out and celebrate with us next Saturday at 4 p.m. And with that, I think it's time for God's Party to get started. Gabriel has put us together a wonderful meditation video, so let's tune into that. Oh, practitioner of the day is Frederick Southern. Indeed, want to give him some love and also acknowledge him for sound. He's our sound technician. He's going to be leading us in the inspirational reading and the invocation today. So let's give Frederick some love in the sound booth. Thank you, good brother. Okay, and with that, let's tune in.
It might sound crazy what I'm about to say. It might sound crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here. You can take a breath. She's here. You can take a breath. I'm a hot air balloon. I can go to space. The air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. I don't care, baby, by the way. 'Cause I'm happy, clap along if you feel like a room.
If you weren't happy before, I think you got to be happy now. Which image was your favorite? I think it was the horse for me, but maybe close second was the cockeyed buffalo or whatever it was. So anyway, thank you, Gabriel, for that video. So now I'd like to go ahead and ask Frederick Southern to come on up. He's our practitioner for the day.
Good morning, Ahiah.
Good morning.
As he lights our peace candle. Again, my name is Frederick Southern. I'm one of the practitioners here at Ahiah. You know, this morning when I received a text from Reverend Scott stating that a practitioner for the day was needed, and I'm like, I think I might step up for that. Let me see what I can come up with. And I immediately grabbed a Science of Mind magazine, and I opened up the page, and it said peace. I said, perfect, perfect. And I'm so clever, I left it sitting on my dining room table. But there's always an answer. There's always an answer. So we had extras in the bookstore, and I grabbed the Science of Mind magazine. I said, let's see what's a close second. So a close second is the depth of our spirituality. From the Science of Mind magazine, January 2021. The depth of our spirituality. If your mind isn't clouded by unnecessary things, this is the best season of your life. The Enlightened Heart, page 47. The spiritual man is continuously remolding and remaking the materials or physical man. That comes from the Science of Mind book, page 317. I believe we're as spiritual now, or going to be as spiritual as we're ever going to be, and we've always been. If we believe we are made of the idea in the perfect mind of God, how could it be otherwise? If we believe we exist in a perfect unity of life, how could it be God or anything else? What's more likely is that often we just don't know the depth of our spirituality. When we don't know that we share the creativity of the mind of God, we often misfire in the things we manifest because we don't know the power we have at our fingertips. Every day is the right day to awaken to our spiritual origins and to learn how to think correctly, to put into motion ideas that affirm life and bring good to all. So who are we to wish ill and thereby bring the weight of the laws upon us? When we awaken each morning, let's determine to see ourselves as powerful beings with the scope of infinity available to us. Let's accept the goodness of the day for ourselves, our neighbor, near and far, and use our spirituality lovingly. Our affirmation: in deepest peace, love, and gratitude, I give thanks for the gifts of the Spirit that come to me each day. I know my inner power, and I use it wisely and lovingly. So let's take this moment and go within. Close your eyes if you choose to. And just know that we are the breath of God. We are that manifestation of God. We know that peace is ours, tranquility is ours, that spirituality is ours. Each and everything that you can think of, the good self, the God self, that's in us. We have the power to make a decision, to make our minds up, to go here and there. We have the power to bless ourselves and others. In the beginning, God said, let there be, let there be, let there be. And at the end, God says, he looked at his creation and said, it's good and very good, including us. We're good. We're very good. Knowing that when God spoke his word and made everything that came out of itself, we have that same power. Know that power for yourself. Know that power for the next person. Use that power. Connect with that power. Be that power. And walk in that power and feel powerful. Knowing that peace is yours. You can walk in peace. You can even walk backwards out of a situation. I say, I'm removing myself from this situation to maintain my peace and my power. If it doesn't look like anything that is going to bring more peace or power to me, I'll remove myself from it. So I speak my word over the service for today. For the speaker, Reverend Scott, the power speaker, our musicians, our singer, knowing that that power is coming from within. I give thanks. I say thanks. Thanks is the highest form of praise, knowing that thanks is a recognition of what has already happened, and also in advance what we choose, what we intend to happen. I release my word into the law, knowing that our word is law, and this word will not come back to me void. Yes, just say yes. And all together we say, and so it is. Amen and amen. Happy Sunday.
Thank you, Frederick. I'm going to remember that, just walk backwards. I like that. Because sometimes I find myself walking forwards into things I don't want to be in anymore, right? Yeah, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Alison to come on up. We'll rearrange the stage a little bit for her. And in the meantime, what I'd love for you guys to do is just go ahead and say hello to the people around you. You don't have to hug or anything, just a wave and a smile, knowing absolutely that we're all one big family here. And for those of you who are online, maybe you're on Zoom, you get to wave to your neighbor that's in the box next to you. Or if you're just watching Facebook, I'll wave to everybody, okay? So it's good to have you here. So, Alison, take it away.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. We're gonna just take 1 moment. That's okay. I want to say also, I see there's a rabbi here, that's wonderful. I come from the Jewish faith, and we're entering the high holidays. So it's a time of renewal, new beginnings. So, and it really goes along really well with the theme of today as well, just good work. So thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
It's been about 6 months, so I'm really happy to be back. Yay! And this is my arrangement of the song Blackbird. And I think it also really speaks to that renewal, that idea of finding the strength within, regardless of the circumstances, and doing your best. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. to fly. Don't you know that all your life you were only waiting for this moment to be free? Oh, blackbird
You know, I often tell you guys that that this service, the talk title and all, kind of works through me through the week, and it all kind of shows up here on Sunday. Well, that song just fits my mood perfectly. So, so maybe, you know, one of these days I think I'll just try a talk title, you know, $1 million lands in Reverend Scott's bank account. See what happens. I think that'd be a good experiment. I'm a physicist, by the way, so, you know, I like experiments. Well, thank you, Alison. And so, I just wanted to let you know, I know that last week we had some problems with Facebook, so especially for those of you who are online. Facebook is working perfectly good today, right, Harris? We got a thumbs up back there? Yep, all right. So Facebook is working great today, but we actually have 3 ways of getting on. There's Facebook, there is YouTube, and then we also share on Zoom the live stream of one of those 2, depending on who's the presenter. So there's 3 ways for you to show up. If you don't find that Facebook is showing up, go to the other places. And you can find them all by going to our main website. And if you hit this little red thing that's there, I wasn't actually supposed to touch my screen, but if you hit the little red thing there, it'll take you to this page. And what you'll find is you'll find the you know, YouTube all ready for you guys to hit the play button. So if you're lost on, you know, you're not finding us, you're not lost, but we're lost. If you can't find us on Facebook, please just go ahead and try out YouTube. So the theme for this month, as everybody has mentioned, is good work. And it's a perfect day to have Rabbi Joshua here today. Not yet, I'll call you up in just a second. But, you know, I really enjoy this topic of good work because it's so important for us as human beings to have good work in our life, to have a way and a place of expressing this good work, whether, you know, you're a minister like me or rabbi like Rabbi Joshua, or you're working a regular job. We can have our good work flowing through us no matter what. Now last week the talk title was Creating a Life That Matters, and so I put up this this graphic last week because, and I'm just throwing it up there again, I'm not going to walk through it all again, but I want you to recognize that the very first one there is donate your time, experience, or finances. This is a way of getting life, work-life balance. That's what these 6 things are. And, we get work-life balance when we feel fulfilled in both aspects of our lives, in work and in life. Work, that thing that we do, maybe we get paid, maybe we don't. There's plenty of opportunity for us to work in our home or out in the community where we don't get paid. But we work, and then we have this life, this thing that we do besides work. And it's funny how in America so often the part that we have to, balance is we're overbalanced on work. Isn't that a little crazy actually when you think about it? You'd think that we would be overbalanced on life, but we're not, generally as a society. And so there's all these things that we can do to help us. And when we donate to our time and our talent and our treasure to the world, what we're really doing is we're finding a place for ourselves in the world. I want to just, have us think about a statement for a moment. So often we hear the statement, the world was given to you. And it is. The world is ours. And also, I think we need to come from the place of, I was given to the world. And when I look at it from that place, I was given to the world, what I get to see and what I get to know is I get to find the gaps in the world, the places in the world that I'm being called to fill. And when I find those, and how do I find them? I listen to Spirit, that still small voice inside. And it guides me to the many things that are out there. It guides me to the one, the two, the things, the few things that are mine to do. The place where I have talent to fill that gap, mostly for the people that are around us, right? I'm a gift to the world, and individually I can be a gift to somebody. And so we find these places where I am a gift to the world. And so one of the ways that we as Ahiah donate out into the world, beyond these borders of these walls, is we've had a very long relationship with Friends Indeed. I'm not sure how many years, it way predates me. And remember earlier this year, Nancy Johnson is somewhere in the house. I saw her earlier. Oh, there she is. Yes. I'll have to clean my glasses, Nancy. I wasn't seeing. And so Nancy, earlier this year, she won a meritorious award, not from Ahiah, but from all of CSL, for the work that she's done with Friends Indeed, in particular, all of the years. And so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and ask Rabbi Joshua to come on up and let us know some of his thoughts about good work.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's lit up here.
We want you to look good.
Yeah. So I told the pastor I'll answer questions about Friends Indeed at the end. But you are, as Reverend Scott said, incredibly generous to Friends Indeed, and we see Nancy all the time bring in your good work. So as Alison said, she I didn't know she was going to say it, but she warned me up. A week from tonight does begin Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, which leads into 10 days of reflection, repentance, of introspection, ending with Yom Kippur, our Day of Atonement. And so I wanted to share just a few words about this concept of forgiveness, because I think that forgiveness is good work, but it's hard work. And that's what, for us coming up, is what this season is all about. It's reflecting on where we've been in the last year. It's reflecting on what we've done, our actions, both the positive and the negative. Jews tend to focus on the negative, but we are called to do both. But honestly, it is about reflecting on ourselves. Where have we missed the mark? And we've been talking about this in our communities for the last several weeks as we get ready. And I wanted to just share that forgiveness is something that's so hard because it's not about the other person changing. It's not about the other person asking for forgiveness, because honestly, asking for forgiveness is a lot easier than offering forgiveness. Saying you're sorry without any sort of change of action is not really asking for forgiveness. But forgiveness is from the divine. It's not in human nature to forgive. It's in God's nature to forgive. And if we are created in that image, then we are called not to offer forgiveness, which means to accept that whatever the other person did to you is absolved, but it's for you to release whatever it is that's binding you to that pain, because then the person who's hurt you is holding you hostage. And in the Jewish tradition, the word for forgiveness is actually doesn't really mean that. The word is teshuvah, and that comes from a root in Hebrew of return. It means to return. And so how is that forgiveness? Because returning to what? Returning from where? And there's this idea that we're on a path and we might have strayed from the path. And I was in here on the meditation, the path of peace. I didn't plan on this being a Hebrew lesson, but in Hebrew, peace is shalom. But again, it comes from a root that doesn't mean peace. It means wholeness. The word shalom comes from the root that means to be whole, to be complete. The circle is whole. And so the path of returning is about finding that way in which you can let go of those grudges and return to that center, to that breath, to that place from where you have strayed. And that relates to the work that we do at Friends Indeed. Because the folks that we serve and that we help and that you support often feel that society has told them they've strayed too far. They've strayed too far off the path and it's too hard to come back, and that is not true. Everyone who comes through our door, we see them where they are at. We meet them where they are at. Whether or not you're poor, whether or not you are homeless, whether or not you're an addict, whether or not you have mental illness, whether or not you're scared, it's about finding a place to return to. And at Friends Indeed, we try to be that place. And the way to do that, which also is why forgiveness is about the divine, is you need to be vulnerable. Forgiving makes you vulnerable because you're putting yourself out there. What if the person does it again? What if they hurt me again and again? But the folks that come through our door, they also need to be vulnerable. Because you have to be vulnerable to ask for help. You have to be vulnerable to ask for a hand. And so I'm feeling this morning that all of this is good work. But good work is not always easy work. If it's truly good, it needs to be a little hard. It needs to have a challenge. Because easy work doesn't always get sustained. It sometimes does. But you're here today, I imagine, to try and find the place where you can go out into the world and do that good work. And in this world that we live in today, it is not easy. So from the moment we walk out of this door, there's a lot of hardship facing us. And so I bless us that we find a way to walk on a path, to lend a hand, to release grudges, to allow someone to be vulnerable with you, and to allow yourself to be vulnerable with someone else. That's true forgiveness. That's true it's true life. It's true life. And I think that's why we're here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you, Rabbi Joshua. That was a beautiful example, I think, of the truth that Ernest Holmes said, which is basically there are golden threads of truth that run through all the world's religions. And I would agree exactly with everything he says, because there is a way to forgive. And I think you must have taken some of my classes on forgiveness, because we teach exactly that. We teach that exactly, that forgiveness is about us. It's not about them, right? And thank God. Thank God it's about us, because if we have to forgive and they have a part in it, it could never happen. But if I'm the only one at play here, I for sure can make that happen. Absolutely. So, this week, the talk title, oh, I skipped your slide with your smiling face on it. But this week, the talk title is Living Your Dream. And that's a lovely talk title, isn't it? And, you know, living your dream can end up being some work too. And I think that's what I found this week, was doing some work in order to live your dream. But I want to start off with a quote from Muhammad, who is, of course, the prophet of the Islam faith, who heard Gabriel and wrote the Quran. And he says, a person's true wealth is the good they do in this world. Our true wealth is that. And I think that this is a good place to start with having Rabbi Joshua here, because we have this energy here today of this good work that we've been doing. And I think it's good for us to celebrate that. It's good for us to celebrate the fact that we outreach beyond the borders of these walls out into the community. And Friends Indeed are the way that we do that. And they've been a great partner. But, you know, the good that we do in this world, we need to have that as a focus in order to do that good. You actually have to think about it in order to do it. It's not something that just falls off the cuff. We actually have to work through it. And the wealth that Muhammad is talking about, to me, is really the wealth of feeling good about myself. Right? That's when I get wealthy. My wealth is so high right now in this moment because I feel really good I feel good about myself. I feel good about this community. I feel good about the work that we do in the world. And you know, years ago, about 30 years ago, I had a very different perspective. I had just finished college. I was a couple years into my job. I had a house. I had a relationship. I had a dog. You know, I had all the things that we say, you know, all the boxes are checked. The only thing I was missing was the white picket fence. You know, that was it. I had everything. And at this particular moment, 30 years ago, I had gone to Bali. It was on my first trip outside of the country, far away, right? Instead of just Mexico and the Caribbean. Here I was flying out to Indonesia and Asia for 2 weeks. I belonged to a scuba diving club, and we were out, you know, for 2 weeks of scuba diving practically every day. And this one particular day, I was out, you know, with the group, and we had an afternoon off. We weren't doing anything that afternoon, so I decided to take a walk. And as I walked down the aisle, you know, as people, the Balinese, how many of you have been to Bali? Anybody here? Oh, Barbara back there has been to Bali. One of the wonderful things about Bali is actually, it's in Indonesia, which is almost entirely a Muslim country. There's Christians, Muslims, and then there's this one little island of Bali, which is primarily Hindu. And so as I'm walking around, I'm talking to all these people who are of Hindu belief. And as soon as they found out that I was American, that I spoke English, they all, you know, I would find all these people who wanted to practice their English. So I'm just walking around and talking to all these people, and there's this one young man. I was much younger than I am now, right? And so he and I didn't have much of an age gap, and we started a conversation, and he spoke pretty good English, and he asked me if I wanted to come back to his home and meet his family, and I said, sure. So I went back to his family, and in that moment of walking into his home, I don't remember whether there were 2 or 3 walls, you know, but it was a dirt floor hut. It wasn't a house, really, it was a hut. It had a cook stove in a corner and some straw pallets on the floor, you know, and a little table, low table to eat around. And so I sat there with his mother and his father and him, and I talked to him mainly because they didn't speak English. But here's the thing that he said that I will never ever forget. He told me, as long as I have rice to eat, I'm happy. And I remember sitting there and just comparing his statement to my level of requirement around being happy, right? My job, my house, my relationship, my dog, you know, all these things. I needed all of these things in order to be happy, and that's truly where I was at that point in my life. If any of those things had gone away, I would not have been happy. And so, I think that young Balinese man, he had the right of it, don't you think? Because what we do in our lives so often is we have this huge barrier in front of us to being happy. We have to get over that. We have to do this. We have to have that. And yet, if I can come from a place that just my basic needs, at the very basic level, I have some rice to eat, I'm happy. I have a place, you know, I have a straw pallet to sleep on, I'm happy. If I can come from that place, then I'll live the life of my dreams. I will. For sure I'll be there. Now, the Buddha today, I think we're hitting all the world's religions today. But the Buddha says, he says that the joy in my heart is is basically living your dream. And he says it this way. He says, set your heart on doing good. Do it over and over again, and you will be filled with joy. You will be filled with joy. All you have to do is do good. Find something. Do good over and over again, you'll be filled with joy. And so this month is all about helping people. Right? Doing good work. Going out, finding that place. Remember the beginning of I am a gift to the world. Finding that place where without me there's a gap. I don't need to cover the things that everybody else covers. I just need to find the thing that's for me, that fills the gap that's presented in this moment. You know, for me, this week has been a bit of a hectic week. And, you know, I've been helping my son, Dylan, and that's a good thing. And, you know, there's highs and lows in that process. You know, the highs are being with him. Because we haven't had time to really spend with each other. So that's an incredible gift. It's an incredible gift to me. And seeing things progress is a gift. No matter what's going on in the world, you know, when things start moving in the right direction, it's a gift. It's a high, it's a great place to be. And knowing that I'm doing the good work in that moment. That the gap that is there, I've been allowed to fill. That's a high. And then there are lows. There are moments where, you know, you're doing the work and yet there are obstacles. And the obstacles, you know, sometimes it'll just feel like the entire world is conspiring against you doing whatever you're doing, right? But, you know, the thing that I've learned about that is that that's not true. It is absolutely not true. The world is not conspiring against me. And so fortunately, when those times happen, and they've happened this week, when those times happen, you know, I recognize them. It's like, this is not my first rodeo, right? I've been down this horse. I've been on this particular horse before, you know, or one that looked very much like it. And, you know, I know what to do. And so I know that when I'm feeling low, when I'm out of the place of being able to do the good work that I'm looking at right now, then what do? Well, I go out and get support. That's what I do. And this week I was texting a bunch of people. And in one particular moment I had two of them, 2 conversations on text going at the same time. Less than 30 minutes, the entire world had changed again. Right? The power of prayer. The power of not buying into the fact, you know, to this idea. It's not a fact, it's an idea, it's a thought that the world is piled up against me. All I need to do is focus on me, focus on my attitude, focus on where I'm coming from. And if I can't move myself up, I can recognize that I'm below the line, so to speak. Below that line, I need help. I need to reach out. I need somebody to remind me of who I am. You know, a good Reverend here, we do this for each other. Right? Reverend Mike and I are a team. And we remind each other of these principles. We remind each other of the truth. we remind each other that we are living the life of our dreams right here, right now. So, this whole idea that the world turns as we turn our thoughts, as we turn to the truth, it's not surprising. Right? Our founder, Ernest Holmes, he wrote the idea all over the place, but I have one particular quote this time here on the screen. He says, with an invisible intelligence to guide and an immutable law to direct, let us take our place in any legitimate activity and thus cause our dreams to come to full fruition. That's a lot of words, isn't it? Remember, he was born back in the 1800s, back then they used to talk a lot of highfalutin words, right? Big words. But we can break it down into small words, really. It's not a hard statement. It's basically saying that there is a life, a power, a presence that we call spirit that is always guiding us. It's always saying yes to us. It is always moving to our highest good in every moment, every moment. And as we turn to it and take our place in this legitimate activity, as we take our place in doing the good work that's at hand, whatever that work looks like for us, thus cause our dreams to come to fruition. How about we just say, our dreams come true, right? Our dreams come true. We start living our dreams. And so we just have to be open to this good flow of life. And so I want to give you an affirmation that's showing on our screen here and on your screen at home. So let's just say that all together. My dreams are taking shape every day. Say it again. My dreams are taking shape every day. And so as you go out into your week this week, what I'd like you to remember is, first of all, I want you to think about that statement of, I was given to the world. I was given to the world. What does that mean for you? How were you given to the world? How does that show up for you? What gaps are there that you see because you were there to fill them? And what does it take for you to be happy? How high is that bar? Do you have to have the job and the house, the relationship, and the dog? Is it up that high? Or are you a little bit more like, if I have a little bit of rice to eat today, I'm happy? Where are you in that? And then set your heart on doing good, like the Buddha says. And do it over and over and over again. That's what we're called to do. Just do good over and over and over again. And, of course, as always, if you're not quite sure what to do, just let Spirit guide you. Thank you, and namaste. And so, is Mahesh here? Mahesh, can you tinkle the keyboard underneath my prayer here? That would be wonderful. Yeah, he's coming. I'll go ahead and get started, though. So I just invite you to take a breath in with me and to let it all go, because it's in that letting go that we let God. It's in that letting go that we know the life and the power and the presence that God is. It's in that letting go that we know absolutely that this life is for us, not against us. It's in that letting go that Spirit moves through us and as it always does, but we recognize it. We know it to be true. We see it in our lives. It's in that letting go that we let go of all that the ego is saying and whispering and telling and worrying about, and we just drop it. We just drop all of that, and we embrace the one life. one power, the one presence that Spirit is, that's the truth of me and it's the truth of you too. We are all that God is. We're all the love and the peace and the power and the joy, the shalom that God is. Everything that God is the truth of us. And so as we know that truth of us, all of our dreams become reality. As we know that truth of ourselves, we get to know that not just for ourselves, but we get to know it for the world. We get to see it in the world. We get to watch those gaps be filled by our own love. We get to know the love and the peace and the joy that God is right here, right where we each individually stand. And for knowing that truth today of the love and the peace and the joy that Spirit is the truth of us, I just give thanks. And I release this prayer to the law, knowing that it's already fulfilled in the mind that God is. And I say life and God are good and very good. And together we say, and so it is. Amen and amen. And so now is the time for our conscious contributions. For those of you who are here at Ahiah, there are offering envelopes that are in the pews. Feel free to put your offering in there, and we are having the baskets come around. The golden plates are coming through, and you can put your offering in that. Make sure you put your name on it, and that way we see it as a conscious contribution. And then if you are online, there are 3 ways for you to contribute. There's the website, ahiah.com/donate, where we have both Breeze, and we also have a thing called Give Butter. If you want to give through Venmo, you can do it through Give Butter. And then also we have the text to give, where you can just text the simple word give to 616-229-2225. And then, of course, you can always mail a check in to us here in the office. And, many people, when they do that, they write me a little note. And so I love reading those notes. Thank you for those. And so however you give, let's go ahead and take that virtual gift to our hearts. And I have the blessing here on the screen and also for you at home. Let's read it together. This gift I give is God in action. I send it forth with joy, confidence, and ease. I am blessed by the law of giving and receiving, as I now share my gift with life. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And so it is. Amen and amen. And so now I'd like to ask the music team to come on up along with Alison, and she's going to sing us another song. Yay, yeah.
So this, sorry. Okay.
There you go.
Thank you. This is a song that was written by a woman named Faith Rivera. It's called Rise. Brian is my savior. I close my eyes, I open my heart, I take a deep breath, let the healing start. I lift my hands, I plant my feet, I let love in, I feel the beat. It's calling, calling us to rise, rise.
Yes. You know, I know Faith. She's one of my favorite singers, and she used to live in the apartment building or condo place that a friend of mine lived. So I've listened to her in concert and everything. Alison, she never sounded like that. And that was such a great rendition. Thank you. So Faith has moved to Hawaii, so I hope she doesn't hear about this and think I'm disparaging her in any way. But what a lovely performance, thank you. And Mahesh, you know, I'm still looking for the smoke over on those keyboards. So. We have some kids. Yes, there they are. And so let's go ahead and ask them to come on up. They're going to tell us a little bit about what they've been doing today.
Good morning. Today we are talking about self-expression and how important it is to be true to ourselves. And Alex is going to take the microphone and expand on that.
It's important to be true to ourselves because we're all here to do something unique. So today we made flowers with a self-portrait, and the petals of the flower have our unique qualities in ourselves.
We will have them on our board back there by the end of the day, so you can visit and see all of our unique special qualities.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Malachi. All right, so we also have our, is this number 23, Rev? 22, 23, somewhere in there? Yeah, somewhere in there, we'll figure it out. But our Creating the Beloved Community is tomorrow. It's from 7 to 9 o'clock. And so everybody's welcome. You don't have to have gone to any of those previous ones in order to join us. It's in our regular Zoom room. You guys know how to get to that. So, but you can go to ahiah.com/virtual and hit the Zoom key. So I really would love for you to be there. This is an awesome program, and we have some good stuff for you this month. And you know, we're all about building safe space in this Creating the Beloved Community and learning how to be with each other in a safe way. So come on down. And then, of course, next week, we're less than 7 days away. And Marcia, you want to come up and say a few words?
Well,
looks like she's walking.
I'll use this one. It's hard for me to hold the mic, but it's easy for me to speak. So, I just want to ask each one of you here to help us make our 80th anniversary and our celebration of Ahiah the best and most absolute thing that you could do this weekend, coming on Saturday. So at 4:30, we will start a one night only with Ricky Byers and Reverend Michael Gott. And I'm asking you all, if you can't come in person, we can live stream. So get your tickets and be there. There's something people say, they usually say be there or be square. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say be there and be happy with us. We are joyously celebrating our 80th anniversary, and we want you all there. Those two musicians are the best, and they have a show planned for you that you would not believe. Surprises. They are even giving me a surprise. And you know, it's hard to surprise me. So be there. Help us celebrate. Welcome to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. I have to tell you, I've never seen two better musicians than Ricky and Michael, and to get them together as a pair, oh my God. Yeah. And Saturday at 1 o'clock, ministers need to be here at 12:30 to be robed and everything, but we will be on time, so we're talking about 1 o'clock sharp. My ordination ceremony kicks off. We've got Reverend Mike and our Reverend Michael Lattimore, and also Reverend Michael Gott will be doing the ceremony with me and for me. And so I would love, this is something we have, fortunately, the lunches are sold out, quote unquote. So if you don't have a lunch ticket yet, or meaning your name isn't on the RSVP form for a lunch, we don't have any more lunches. But I would love for you to come for the ceremony. This is an opportunity for us to all come together as a congregation and really, really just come together and get beyond this whole COVID thing. Come in, celebrate our 80th anniversary, both through the ordination and also in the at the concert that night. So I would love to see you here and then there. And then we have our Friends and Family Day is coming up on October 9th. And so basically that means, invite your friends and family to come with you to service here. And then we'll have some activities, we'll have some food afterwards, it'll be a good time. But just invite them to come at 11 o'clock or 10:40 for our meditation service, whatever you want. You should have did everybody get a little, business card sized thing to give to your friends? We have many more back at the back, and so you can hand those out. We'll have more next week. If we happen to run out somehow, we'll have more next week printed up. And so these are just an easy way to give a friend that. That's how I found Centers for Spiritual Living. I was completely unchurched, wasn't interested, had no intention of going to anything spiritual or non-spiritual. And I came because a friend of mine asked me to support her and her community. And I said yes. And I never left.
Yay.
The point is you don't know how you're going to touch somebody. You don't know the good that you can do in their life. I'm not saying that this is right for everybody, but I know that Spirit will find them. They'll find them with you. Okay? So we also have our book study. You guys are rebooting the book, right?
Right.
It started over at the beginning. It started all over. So if you didn't join the book study because you didn't want to enter the book halfway, it's okay. Come on down. Tuesdays at 7 o'clock. And then we have practitioners. We have 10 practitioners here, including Frederick, myself, Myrna's in the back there, but we have many more that would love to pray with you. And Marcia, there's Marcia, thank you. And so we would love to pray with you. And just go ahead and grab us. Or if you want to contact us afterwards for prayer, you can always go to ahiah.com/meetourpractitioners for contact info. We also have Ministry of Prayer available. Go to, that's online. You can fill out a prayer card here that's in your pew, put it back in the box that's right by where Lisa is standing over there by the gray thing. But you can also do it online. And remember, only the ministers and practitioners ever see the prayer requests. We also have dial prayer, something to just lift you up during your week. You need a little bit of prayer. You need something to remind yourself of the truth. Go to dial a prayer. And so what I'd like to do is I'm going to go ahead and say the benediction, but I want to give Rabbi Joshua a chance to talk a little bit about the things that he's doing for Friends Indeed. And so he's going to come up here right after the benediction. If you've got to go, I understand, but if you want to stick around and talk to Rabbi Joshua, this is a golden opportunity to talk to somebody who really has the pulse of our community and what the things are that needs to be done. So let's say the benediction together. It's showing on our screen here. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind, life is in my body, life is in all of my affairs. I accept it, I am it, and I share it, just the way it appears and just the way it appears not. Thank you, life. Amen and amen. I will see you guys next week. Stick around for Rabbi Joshua and have a great time. Thank you and namaste. Come on up, Rabbi. Why don't you stand up here so you'll be up.
Okay. So let me just remind folks quickly, and then I want to take questions. So a lot of you know about the food pantry. We're seeing about 450 households a week through our food pantry. You all know about the women's room, day refuge for homeless and at-risk women. We're getting back to our pre-COVID numbers, at least 20 women a day coming for showers, laundry, food, community connection, case management. We have an eviction prevention rental assistance program. We are spending a lot of money trying to keep people from being evicted. These moratoriums are coming to an end, but people have a lot of arrears, and so we're paying a lot in arrears, and it's really difficult for folks to try and to stay housed. It is incredibly more effective and way less costly to keep people housed than to have them lose their home, become homeless, and then try to get rehoused. Very, very difficult. And we also have a street outreach team. We are growing that team. We have 7 folks who spend most of their time out on the street, engaging with folks, talking to folks. We have a substance abuse specialist, a harm reduction specialist, housing locators, mental health specialists. So we're trying to talk to people, trying to, if they're ready or closer to being ready to be housed, we can try to put them in a motel and work with them. If they have more barriers, we try and just meet them where we're at and continuing to build relationships. And then once the winter rolls around, whatever that means here in California, we'll have a cold weather distribution. We don't have a bad weather shelter, but we'll be distributing cold weather supplies out of First United Methodist Church over in Colorado, and then having a motel program for folks most in need. So those are our 5 major programs. I want to just see if there are any questions or things you, yes, Pastor.
Why do you call us the Ahiah Angels?
Why do we call you the Ahiah Angels? You're asking, we call you the Ahiah Angels? Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Where do you see that?
On your newsletter.
On our newsletter, the Ahiah Angels. I don't know, I gotta look into that. I didn't realize that. Is that something you don't want?
No, we do want it.
Oh, well, you know, I will say that Nancy brings a lot of angelic energy to Friends Indeed. We're so grateful that your denomination, the larger community, honored her. She shows up with carloads full of stuff and is just incredibly generous through your community. And I hope people know Reverend Amadi is on our board, and he's been on our board for many, many years. And we're really grateful to have him and the spirit he brings. He keeps us grounded in spirit and in God's work. We're an interfaith organization. Any other things you need to know, want to know?
Thank you for coming.
My pleasure. Yes, ladies?
Well, I just wanted to clear that up because the Ahiah Angels came from when we used to volunteer in person at the women's room.
Okay.
And the women would say, "You're such an angel. You're such an angel."
That's beautiful.
And so we just took it on and said, that's who we are.
I love it.
That's how the women's room staff views us for the things that we've done.
Love it.
Because we're not a huge community,
Yeah.
but we give like we are.
Yes, you do.
And so that's a blessing. I'm so happy you're here to talk to the congregants, because I'm usually the only one that really talks about it, and they give just because I bug them. So, but
It's the best power.
But it's wonderful to have an opportunity to help
Yes.
people do their service and share their
Yes.
prosperity
Yes.
with others in our community.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that you were able to come here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Ma'am, did you have a question?
I did. I get your weekly newsletter, so I stay abreast of what Friends Indeed does. But can you tell us a little bit more about your street outreach team?
Sure. So we have four members of the team who are out on the street. They have about 15 to 20 people on their caseload. They're trying to meet people, they're trying to engage them, they're trying to learn about them. We have all these specialists now, multidisciplinary team to try and engage folks who are at different places in their life, and they have experience working with people who are are suffering from addiction or mental health challenges. We are trying to know as many people as we can out there and respond in a way that is trying to move people from the street. Ultimately, our goal is to move them from the street into bridge or permanent housing. Unfortunately, that doesn't really exist here in Pasadena. There's no bridge housing in Pasadena, which is interim housing. I shouldn't say none, but it's usually all filled. And so we work with other outside of Pasadena. But you know, we're trying to make sure people don't feel unseen. At least we can do is provide them some supplies, some food, water, some clothing, things to replace things that they might have lost or had stolen, and then try and stay with them if we continue to find them, and hopefully be able to bring them inside as best we can. So if you see someone and you see folks, you can call us, and we can try and get out there and see what we can offer. Yes, ma'am. Oh yeah, she's telling me what to ask.
What's the greatest need that you're facing now, and for the population that you're serving, is it expanding?
I see. Greatest need that we have. Other than money, we need food in the food pantry. Like I said, the numbers are growing. That's significantly, 450 is up from 350 just a year or two ago. So we need shelf-stable food, canned goods, soups, tuna, peanut butter, things that are hearty. So we always need food. Toiletries are also things that we can't have too much of. These folks, we try to offer hygiene kits if the community wants to prepare those. And you said, is it growing? The homeless count in this last year showed essentially it was flat, which is better than growing. But flat because, as many people as we get off the street, it's almost 2 to 1. You get 2 off and 1 ends up on. And so as long as that ratio continues, it's going to be very hard to battle back. Housing costs are going incredibly higher nationwide, and so it's even higher here. For every $100 that rent increases, there's a 9% increase in homelessness. So obviously in Pasadena, average rent $2,600 a month for a 1-bedroom, and so we're trying just down the street. Where we are, Salvation Army's building that very, very large Hope Center you might have seen. That's going to be 64 units for veterans, and seniors. It's going to be it's really a great thing they're building. So that's the largest new project going on in Pasadena. Others? Yes? Oh, now you're going to ask your own question. Okay.
I'm just curious, are you the director there?
I'm the executive director, yeah, and we have about 23 staff members. Amazing people. And I'll close just by saying I was moved by the Balinese young man almost to a T, all of our guests will say something like that. You gave me a shower today, I'm happy. I got a meal today, I'm happy. I got to come inside and sit down and have a conversation with someone who wanted to talk to me and just be there for me, happy. I've never met more grateful people. And I'm similar to Reverend Scott, like, I got a pretty high bar of what it needs to make me happy. I'm pushing through now because it's past my lunchtime, but it's amazing to see what people, you know, everyone just says thank you all the time. How are you today? Blessed, so blessed, just grateful to be here. And like, I don't know about you, but keeping that attitude up, living on the street or living in really deep poverty, folks have faith and they have to see that if you have rice to eat today, then it's better than not having it. So thanks for having me, and thanks for all your support, and happy 80th birthday.
All right, so without further ado, we are